I'm in Venice, everybody's favorite city. I have come to try and find the food soul of this city.
Are you hearing this nice noise? That's when food talks to you, huh?
I'll be led on my quest by Enrica Roca, who is known as the cooking contessa.
So this is what's behind the brick walls of Venice.
Yes. Enrica's focus is simple. Teach people to love the essence of Venetian food. This is the Grand Canal, and I'm in Venice with my friend, the actress Diane Wiest. The thing about Venice is, no matter how many times you come here, you feel like it's a tourist city, and you don't really get any sense of what it's like to live here. So we're going to go to cooking school with Enrica Roca, who is a native Venetian and someone who's really passionate about the local food. And what we're hoping is that we will get not only recipes, but that we're going to get some insight into the soul of this city. Enrica runs a famous cooking school from her father's palazzo, which happens to date back to the 1880s. Hidden behind these brick walls is an amazing garden. Diane had never been to Venice before, and she was thrilled to get a chance to go to this cooking school.
I'm not much of a cook. I mean, you know, I've managed to feed my children over the years, but I'm not much of a cook. One time I did cook a wonderful Christmas goose, and I'm good at Thanksgiving, but day to day, you wouldn't probably want to eat at my house. But Ruth said that was good because you go to cooking school to learn, and so this is my initial experience at cooking school.
Enrica's going to be teaching Diane and me how to grill really fresh cuttlefish, to make roast duck stuffed with pork and ginger, some really incredible pork ribs, peperonata, a kind of sweet and sour pepper dish, a classic risotto with chanterelles and prawns, an incredible seafood pasta, and finally, that classic Italian dessert, tiramisu. The thing I'm most excited about is going to the market with Enrica. I've been to the Rialto market many times, but I've never actually been able to buy anything there because I've never had any place to cook. Finally, I'm going to the world-famous Rialto market to actually buy some fish.
Look at this. These are cuttlefish. You see, the black is the natural ink, which is also the natural defense of a cuttlefish. So when you approach it in the sea and the cuttlefish feels threatened, they will eject a cloud of black ink around them so they make themselves invisible.
And these are local, these are caught?
These are absolutely local. These are come from the lagoon. They fished normally at night with lamps, like calamari. Because of their transparency, you can see them floating in the sea, and then they're quite easy to catch. We're going to do some grilled seppioline. So we need to find seppioline which are about this size, so not too big, otherwise they would be tough. We don't want to have to cook them for too long. Allora, avrei bisogno di 6 seppioline non troppo grandi.
Metto qua davanti a farvele.
Perfetto, perfetto. No. He's going to clean them for us so you can see how you clean it.
There's something so wonderful about watching the expertise of the fishmonger as he takes the shell out and then he removes the eyes and then he carefully removes the sac, the ink sac. He does this with such incredible competence. And there's really nothing sexier than a competent man.
Perfetto, grazie mille.
We're making cepi alla griglia, which are grilled cuttlefish. And this, to me, is classic Venetian cooking.
So important thing is that your grilling pan is extremely hot, so that when you put the cuttlefish in, it seals. Remember that the worst thing you can possibly do to any seafood is to overcook it.
It's smelling good?
It smells great.
Oh, wow.
It smells fresh. You can smell the sea.
As the cuttlefish grill, they puff up. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it.
Enrica, how many minutes until I turn it?
Diane, that's a question that I will never be able to answer you. My answer is it's as many minutes as you need for it to be cooked. Who talks to you? You know, noises, aspects, you know, it just shows you what you should be doing.
Okay.
So is this enough garlic?
Yes, yes.
When they're done, they're going to go onto this beautiful bed of mush, of lamb's lettuce. And the juices from the cuttlefish are going to run down and make a kind of natural salad dressing.
The simplest things are often the best.
Okay, yeah, the tentacles, my favorite part.
Yes.
They really taste they do taste like they were swimming 10 minutes ago. This dish captures the essence of Venetian cooking. It begins with fresh local ingredients and uses them in a very simple way. Every piece of it is in perfect balance.
Oh, thank you so much.
You cook them. What we're going to do, we're going to stuff a duck. I need to have 3 things very finely chopped. Some garlic, ginger, and a little bit of cilantro.
How do you call it?
Coriander. In the ancient books, old books of Venetian cooking, ginger is by far the spice that you find the most often.
And what is this?
This is pork minced meat. And then you can very finely chop these, which is the heart, the liver, and the stomach. Diane, it's time to get your hands really dirty. Dig in there, go mix.
This is just a beautiful duck. But the most amazing thing is watching Enrica put the duck right into the oven without a roasting pan.
So you put it right on the rack.
Yes, right on the rack.
The pan underneath.
Then it works, then it roasts
like
properly
a rotisserie.
all over. Huh?
Yeah.
What she's doing here is she's letting the hot air circulate all around the duck, which is a perfect way to cook a duck, something I've never really thought of. It sort of makes a mess. I mean, this duck is going to spatter fat all over this oven, but it's going to make a really delicious duck.
The duck has been now cooking for 3 hours at 150 degrees. How many Fahrenheit is that, Ruth?
About 300.
About 300 Fahrenheit. There isn't so much to eat in a duck.
No.
So, the stuffing doubles your quantity of proteins and the number of people really you can feed.
This is certainly something I'm going to try with chicken when I get home. I love the idea of this. We've been cooking for a long time. It's time to take a Venetian break. Diane's going off sightseeing, but Enrica's taking me to a baccaro, which is kind of the Venetian version of a tapas bar. Enrica assures me that virtually every Venetian stops work at 11 o'clock in the morning and goes to his local baccaro.
You're going to have a little taste of spritz, which I think probably would come from the Austrians. You know that Venice was under Austrian invasion, and in Austria, spritz really means a diluted glass of wine with soda water.
Oh,
so this is what we call uno spritz al bitter. Bitter because it's slightly bitter. So cheers and
chin chin.
For a little Venetian moment.
This is the Venetian version of a coffee break. In this moment, sitting here, drinking this spritz and eating these delicious little tidbits, I have the momentary fantasy that I am, in fact, Venetian. What's inside the artichoke? There's something in there.
Tuna. Instead of tuna, personally, what I've put in here is goat cheese. I find goat cheese and artichoke is a beautiful combination of food, of flavors.
Now we're going to make a truly Venetian dish called costicine in tecce. And Diane is going to make this dish.
When you seal a piece of meat, it means trapping the juices inside the meat, so that your meat stays moist. There you are. You hear this nice noise? That's when food talks to you,
I'll be a cook yet. You just wait. You just wait.
This is chopped fresh rosemary and chopped sage. Sage and rosemary, they benefit by slightly frying, okay? They develop flavor. Once we're happy that the herbs are nicely fried, then we add the garlic for a minute and not more. And you add some white wine, and then we'll add some stock. Put a lid on, and we let it cook.
That's easy.
Very simple.
How long is that going to cook? Is it going to be, what, an hour? Or?
Yeah. This is one of my favorite dishes. You can cook chicken like this. You can cook everything. So this is very nice on a polenta. This is really finger food. Get in there.
These are, bar none, the single best ribs I have ever eaten. Sweet, herbal, somehow every flavor that has gone into this pan has come together and created something completely new.
It's hard to believe that those few little ingredients came down to this. All the flavors concentrated and,
Enrica is very proud of all things Venetian, so she often takes her students out to a farm in the Venice Lagoon. We are met at the dock by Ornella, whose family has had this farm. This is her father's farm. We pick these gorgeous onions, which just come right up out of the earth, and they're white, and they're beautiful, and they're small.
here you have them. Clean onions. These onions are going into a very easy classic Venetian dish called peperonata.
So we're going to make a peperonata. Ingredients are peppers, onions, olive oil. That's all.
There is a classic Venetian preparation called insaur, which is basically sweet and sour. I love Enrica's innovation with this, which is essentially she's just going to add balsamic vinegar, which is sweet and sour all by itself.
Everything goes so much quicker when there is 3 people in the kitchen.
Slice up peppers, slice up onions, cook them down quite a while, and add balsamic vinegar, and boom.
Is everything on a very low heat?
Yes,
then?
everything is just a small simmer. Children love this. So here we have the peppers.
It's a really delicious dish, and again, something that is the epitome of Venetian simplicity. How could you use fewer ingredients to get something with this kind of complexity of flavor?
It's always best to visit any fish market early in the morning. So that's when we went off to buy the seafood. And the Rialto market always surprises me with its amazing beauty.
We are gonna buy some of the mazzancolle. It's very important, we need the heads in order to make a stock. We need the muscles. Abbiamo bisogno di un mezzo chilo di cozze. A couple of those calamaris, which look very nice. Okay, so we're gonna start preparing the stock with the heads of the prawns that we will need for 2 dishes. One is for the risotto and the other one is for la pasta allo scoglio. I need you to separate the heads from the bodies of the prawns.
Oh, look at that.
This is what gives the flavor. Diane, do you cook a lot or not?
No, I'm. You know what happens to me? I'll pick a recipe, something I really want, and I'll cook it well once. When I go back to try it again, it's terrible.
One of the things that's too bad about when you cook a lot, it's not always good, but it's not a disaster because you have another dinner tomorrow night and another one the night after. When you don't cook a lot, it's like every time it's not good, it's like,
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
it feels like a huge failure.
So we're gonna put a lid on and let it simmer for about 15 minutes with no liquid whatsoever.
Only after they've sort of reduced and given their essence to the pot is she going to add some water and some wine.
Look at the color of the water.
It's amazing.
Look at this orange. Okay, now the risotto. We're going to start making the base of the risotto. This is going to be a risotto of chanterelle and prawns. Now we have onions, white wine, and mushrooms, okay? So this is almost dry now. We're going to add the risotto rice.
So which kind of rice do you use?
Carnaroli. Carnaroli cooks equally at the same time the heart and the outside of the grain. Arborio, when the outside of your grain is cooked, the heart is still hard. By the time the heart is cooked, the outside is gone flour. Let the rice toast, fry a bit,
We're going to be using this amazing stock that we made from the prawn heads, and you just know that it's going to become the essence of this risotto.
So at the beginning, you can add more liquid, but towards the end, when you see that the rice is almost cooked but not just yet, there you really have to go slowly.
What if I stepped away to answer the phone and I stopped stirring?
If it's at the beginning, probably nothing happens, but if it's towards the end, you will end with an overcooked risotto.
Okay.
So first rule, switch off your phone when you're cooking your risotto.
Yeah.
The thing that I think it's important for people to know about risotto, which is not a complicated dish, is when it tastes done to you, it's done.
Is it understand?
Getting there.
Yeah.
You're gonna add the prawns, okay? Because the prawns, they will cook in seconds. It needs parsley. There is mushroom and seafood, so I'm going to consider it a seafood risotto. Then you never add Parmesan cheese, and I prefer cream.
Watching the cream vanish, I just know this risotto is going to be spectacular.
Oh, it's so intense.
Oh,
Oh my God.
and the cream was such a nice touch. Our next dish is the seafood pasta.
Okay, we need calamari. We have some prawns, and we have some mussels. So we're gonna make a pasta allo scoglio. Lo scoglio is a sea rock. So pasta allo scoglio means pasta with seafood.
This is one of the things that people come to Venice for, a pasta with seafood.
And we're going to remove these mussels from here. You can add in here a bit of garlic, half of that parsley.
The cherry tomatoes go in there?
Yes. You're gonna add another little bit of the stock.
Once again, for this dish, we're going to use this extraordinary stock that we've made with the shrimp heads.
Put the calamari first. It will take a bit longer than the rest. Always with seafood, you need a little chili. Wow! Fascinating. The water of the pasta should taste almost like the Mediterranean Sea.
The genius of this particular dish is that you really only cook the pasta part way.
You can taste it too.
Crunchy.
And we want it crunchy, because now we want it to go in here and absorb these stocks.
It's going to be wonderful because it's suck in all that nice juice.
Put the prawns in.
Do you know it's done when there's no liquid left?
Yeah.
This is a dish where the starch is becoming one with its sauce. All of the shrimp and the calamari and the mussels, they're inside the pasta. They're part of the pasta now.
There you go.
That is gorgeous. Now it's time for dessert. Diane really loves chocolate, so yesterday she and Enrica's cousin Anna Maria went off to a famous chocolate shop to buy the chocolate for the tiramisu.
Buongiorno. Oh my goodness, the smell is incredible in here.
When Hernando Cortez brought chocolate back from the New World, Venice fell head over heels in love. That's when this chocolate drink that Diane is tasting was first invented.
So it's done mainly with chocolate, And spices.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon, yes.
And hot pepper.
Yes.
Ginger.
Ginger.
And cardamom.
Okay. I've never tasted anything like this. What's it like? I don't know how to describe it. It's like chocolate espressos. And Rika sent me here to get a dark chocolate.
Prego.
Grazie mille.
Grazie.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so what are we making?
Tiramisu, okay? The Venetian way. Careful because...
Yeah, no, I know. You cannot get the slightest drop of egg yolk into the whites.
Better you than me.
I've already screwed up.
If you can turn the bowl upside down and it doesn't fall, then you have your egg whites.
Diane is mixing these gorgeous, glorious marigold yolks into the mascarpone.
Slowly, you just pour all of this coffee. At this stage, if you like it, you can add a bit of alcohol. But the Venetian recipe does not have it.
Enrica suggested using a mixer, but I kind of enjoy folding these egg whites into the mascarpone.
This is an easy dessert, done in 10 minutes. It doesn't need to cook. All it needs is to go in the fridge for a minimum of 2 hours.
So this is what's behind the tall brick walls of Venice.
Yes.
A little paradise.
We have cooked an amazing amount of food.
Voila!
A minor repast for 3 people.
Cheers and welcome to Venice.
And a toast to la professora.
Professoressa.
Professoressa. This has been the most extraordinary few days. Enrica has been such a great guide to this city. And this time, I feel like I'm going home with a real taste of what Venice is like. I think we start with the pasta, yes.
Yes. Have a little pasta and afterwards add a tiny bit of olive oil.
I've never thought of it this way before, but you're really right that the seafood now is just
Blended. It's part of the pasta.
When you go to cooking school, what you bring back for your friends is the story of the dish.
Oh, the stuffing is delicious.
And the flavor of the city. Even if it's not the flavor in your mouth, it's the flavor in your mind of what the city is. And that's why you want to go to cooking school in another city.
This is your chocolate?
This is my chocolate.
No matter where you are, what you will bring back is something that is so much more precious than a thing that you can buy.